Hey lifers, welcome to another day. Yeah, it's coming to a close for us. Unexpectedly, that's for sure. You know, you kind of get softened up with this nice weather and you're like, oh yeah, it's just going to keep coming, it's going to keep coming. Well, about 2 or 3 hours of cold weather is supposed to come back. Got ourselves some rain in the forecast and then it's going to cool off for a few days. They say maybe I'll get above 70 towards the middle of next week. I know, a weather forecast as usual, but you know, everything dictates what we can do and what we can't do by the weather. So, yeah, it's a beautiful afternoon, but it's a bit breezy. And as you can see, I just wiped this guy off about 5 minutes ago and it's already got a bug, branch, some other crap all over it. So I don't think I'm going to be able to paint today. And as I said, it's supposed to rain here in the next couple hours anyway, and I'm not even ready to paint yet. I actually got out my spotting putty and I gotta do some little stuff like this. You know, primer only goes so far, and yeah, I could put another layer of primer on it and just call it a day, and it may fix most of this stuff. It may even leave 1 or 2 spots that I may have to do primer again. Nah, screw that. Get out my spotting putty, take me 20 minutes, put it on. It'll take 2. Nah, well, hell, that stuff dries almost instantaneously anyway. So that's not going to hold us back any either. And we're going to try to get this thing finished up before it actually rains. I mean, if it rains on it for a couple of days, it really won't hurt my feelings. I mean, honestly, like I said, it's fiberglass. It's meant to be out in the weather. I mean, I'm not saying it's supposed to be out in the yard or something. I mean, we should show respect to our boats by keeping them covered and keeping the drain plugs empty and all that good stuff. You know, sunlight can do just as much damage to fiberglass as you know, just wear and tear. But that's our objective. I mean, pretty much, let's get this thing wrapped up and out of the way. I'm gonna get to work. Well, we knew it was coming, but it may not be over yet. Let's see how things work out here in a few minutes. Well, we're still seeing how this works out. Rain's a bit heavy right now. My whole theory behind this is I need to do some wet sanding anyway. I'm up to 320. I could wet sand that if I have to. So yeah, and it keeps the dust down too, because I just actually blew all this area out and blew the boats off and everything. Because I figured rain was coming. I didn't want all that dust sitting on top of these boats and then the rain kind of soak it in a little bit. Yeah, we're all set to get going here, but the downpour is a little too much to be standing in to do this. Man, those clouds are moving right along, but so aren't we. Just because it's raining doesn't mean we ain't doing anything. So we got out our bucket of soapy water here and soaked up some sandpaper, and now we're wet sanding. Yeah, I figured as much. We knew it was coming, so I decided I got all my spot putties and everything else that needed to be done prior to it actually raining. And then I did a dry sand with 220, and just as I was cleaning up the mess from that, it started to sprinkle. So, and then of course, you know, you all saw what happened. A break here or a break there, we just go out, grab our sandpaper, and it takes about 15-20 minutes to do the whole box. And as I said, we're up to 320 now. I'm gonna actually go up to 400, even though I'm not painting today. Normally I'd wait till I painted to actually get to 400, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to do it, and then I'll probably just do it again, like when I'm real close to actually painting. You know, it's just, I don't know, there's no reason not to. It's already sitting there, it's ready to go, just got to do it. And 2 times is better than 1 in this situation, as long as you're not standing off a corner or anything like that. But I've tried to stay away from corners with most of the sandpaper, only up until the very high numbers, like 320 I was doing a little bit with it. But 400 I will also, and yeah, we should be ready for paint. Now, if the weather's going to be cooperative or not, that's going to be a whole nother story. So, as I said, we are months and months ahead. I can't complain one bit at all. I mean, what can I say? them. And we got done everything we could get done while it was raining, but now we need to get it dried out. It's up to 400. It's ready for paint if it would actually stop raining and got nice and sunny and turned into a beautiful day. Well, you can't say that we didn't give it 100%, that's for sure. We were lucky enough to get the stuff done before it actually rained, and then, you know, I mean, wet sand, dry sand, it really didn't bother me one way or the other. And actually, I kind of prefer wet sanding, to be honest. It's just, it seems like it's cleaner, even though it leaves a big streak down the driveway. But this is where we're at for the night because it's not going to stop raining. I already know that, but at least we did get something accomplished today. And if tomorrow it's anything like they say it's going to be a bit chilly, but we may start looking at some paint. I don't know. We'll see. But until then, see ya. Welcome to another day. Yeah, the weather turned on us real quick and it hasn't gotten any better yet. We figure we're ready. We just got to stop all this stuff being blown onto it. But they say not tomorrow, but the next day it's supposed to be a lot nicer. Wind's supposed to calm down. That's the real problem. I mean, it's not even that cold out here. I mean, it's probably in the 50s, but you know, I've been known to do stuff like that in the 50s, especially paint. I mean, paint kicks off, you know, by itself. It just takes longer. But yeah, the wind, I mean, as you can see, that leaf just landed on it. That would be like, oh man, my paint job's ruined already. So we're done with that. But in the spirit of things, as usual, my compressor's running like crazy because we are in the process. Ah, there we go. Because we are in the process of cleaning up the house here. And in the process of that also, we are getting things ready for future work. Meaning that we've got all our paint, our clear coat, all the activators, cups, everything, mask, sprayer, everything's all set out right there. It'll be straightened up a little bit more afterwards because we are in the midst of a major cleaning here because everything is just caked in dust and, you know, fiberglass fibers are everywhere. I mean, you can't walk through the thing without dragging fiberglass fibers someplace. Since we have really are going to curtail that, hopefully, I'm not saying we're done, but we're really trying to be. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean up all this stuff. And it's just, as I said, it's just one of those days where, you know, I got to get something done. So if it means hunting down all the screws and washers and nuts and everything for, say, that bumper for the motor cover, then that's what we're doing. We got all our screws for our hinges. You know, it's just get everything prepped up that we can so we're not doing that when we actually have opportunity. And as I said, the opportunity is probably going to come in 2 more days. And I got my fingers crossed for tomorrow, but I really don't think it's going to happen. And until then, I'm going to continue cleaning and prepping for what I can do next. That's the game plan for us today. Sadly, I don't have really a lot of film to show you all, so enjoy my semi-wrecked, semi-clean garage. And I'll see you tomorrow. Welcome to another day as we gander around our nice clean garage. Clean. How about straightened up some? We'll just put it that way. A lot less fiber floating around. Patience is a virtue, but our patience is wearing thin. We've waited days and days and days for this stuff to stop being so windy. I mean, the temperature's okay. It's just the wind. I mean, it's like every day, 20, 30 mile an hour winds. Constantly stuff flying all around. I just had to wash this whole motor box cover once again just because it had so much stuff sitting on it from days and days of wind and rain. So I've gone ahead and I built myself a little shanty town here. Yeah, it's 100% temporary. It's just to keep the things off from falling on the motor cover. And I am actually going to try to get it painted today. If I can get this spray work done, I'm done with the stuff that I need to do outside. Worst case scenario, I can bring this guy into the garage once again, put it back over where it was, upside down, and complete the inside, including painting, all the accessories, the trim pieces that go around the outside edge, all that stuff. No, that's not a raw fiberglass box. It actually gets pieces that go all the way around it. But that's all to come up in the future. I just can't spray in the garage, and I'm running out of time because we have, you know, better weather, I guess you would call it, coming up here shortly, but it's also going to be colder. As it keeps getting colder, things just, you know, snowball into getting worse and worse. So I have the temp today. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to get this some color on this thing, or lack of color. White, I don't know. Or is it black? It's a lack of color. Anyway, around it. We're trying to get some white paint on this thing today. And hopefully the spraying part will be over with. And then we can just move on, as we said. I know, like I said, we're months and months ahead. But at the same time, I look at this and I go, yeah, but that's just that one project that didn't get finished. As I said, the whole project isn't finished. That's just one I don't want sitting here for the next 3 or 4 or 5 months. You know, things get damaged, things fall on it, winter storms. I don't need all that crap on it. So let's see if we can get this thing finished up today. Well, you win some, you lose some. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on. I really do think there's a problem with the primer and the paint reacting together or something, but I'm getting a few pinholes up in here, a couple over in here too. And if it was 1 or 2, I'd be like, yeah, no big deal. We'll just dab it in later, whatever. But it seems to be a number of them. Well, I've just gotten to the point where it's like, you know what? This just really ain't worth continuing on. And I've tried. I dabbed it with a brush. That worked for a second or 2, and then of course it came back. I tried some melt away. It thins the paint up to where it's almost like lacquer thinner itself. And yeah, I'm just having no luck. So I'm gonna let this kick off overnight, and I'll come back with my spotting putty over here, which I didn't put it away. Kind of figured as much. And we'll spot putty these things up, and then we'll go back at it again tomorrow. See ya. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another day. Let's hope it's better than yesterday. Not that yesterday was all that bad, but this was a failure. And as you can see, I've already gone at it with some spotting putty. Not playing no games this time. It's got to be wet sanded anyway, because just like with the bottom, it's already sat around for too long, and you know, it's been cured up enough to where they require an 800 to 600 to 800 grit. Well, I've got some 4 out right there, and yeah, I've been at it with my spotting putty. I'm just giving it a couple seconds. As I said, that stuff is almost like instantaneous drying. I mean, it really is, but why not give it a few extra minutes to sit in them tiny little, I don't know, pinholes. I don't even know what to call them, to be honest. I mean, most of the majority of these weren't even pinholes. They were just kind of like depressions where it looks like the paint already had filled in a pinhole. So, you know, we're restarting again today. Why not start fresh? And I gotta be honest with you, besides 1, 2 little spots down around the outside corner here, 98% of them are right here. I don't know what it is. You know, it's the surface being this way or that way. I don't know. And it's just, as I said, it was wet sanded in the rain like we showed before in the video. I mean, and then it sat out here for a couple days. I mean, the top had been scrubbed a bunch of times. I mean, literally with a scrub brush, and then this big giant orange fluffy thing over here. You know, and then it sat and then it washed it again. So I mean, it's not like there's some kind of contaminant on it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really care at this point. As I said, I'm just going to give my spotting putty. Look at that side. That whole side's got nothing on it. And from here, I'll just kind of wet sand the whole thing back down so it's ready for paint. And we'll just use this as a base coat. It seems pretty traditional with this boat to get a base coat of some kind, stop, fix everything, go on with the next one. So I guess it's being true to its nature because it belongs in this boat now officially. So that's our plan. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get this thing wet sanded out, hopefully cleaned up, and maybe shot. We'll see. Okay, Well, we've gone ahead and got everything wet sanded. It's dried up, been washed. Getting ready to put a coat of paint on it. Fingers are crossed. I've got to tell you, this stuff only happens to me, because I've never seen such a thing. This is like the 6th or 7th water drop that I've vacuumed up here. Now I'll come back in a couple minutes and there'll be another water drop sitting right there. I'm just dumbfounded. I don't know what the hell is going on. I thought maybe it was coming from the top. There's nothing there. I thought maybe it was coming from wherever. And yet, there it is again. I don't know what to say here. I'm speechless. This is just unbelievable. I mean, it's just endless. I mean, from everything from the plywood detaching when it had 300 plus pounds on it, and everything was wet, everything was trowel deep. I mean, it should have had no problem adhering to it, and yet it did. Then yesterday, I'm spraying. My sprayer halfway through the second coat just stops. Just clogs up for no apparent reason. It was perfectly clean when I started. Okay, come back out, get going. My compressor shuts off. I don't know what happened. And the circuit breakers are fine, everything. I shut it off, I turned it all back on, it works fine. But it was right in the middle of a spray, and I'm noticing my spray gun go, you know, and it's like, oh, God, I know exactly what this is. So then I have 350 pinholes. Who knows where they came from, but they came. And now, like I said, I've got a fountain growing in my damn motor box cover. I guess there's an invisible line down here that goes about 70 feet below the ground, and it's actually a well. I just didn't know it. It's magic. I'm at my wit's end. I mean, even if there was a pit or something there, there is no way it could have held that much water. I don't understand what's happening. It couldn't have held 7 drops over here. Again, as I said, I'm just going to let it go off. I'm going to do what I got, work around it, whatever, and just sand it off tomorrow. I don't know. Welcome to another failure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say any longer. I just got tired of it, so I whipped out my cutoff wheel on my grinder and I started slicing and dicing. And I know it sounds extreme, but when you hear this, you'll probably understand. I came over here, had 2 little pock marks. Just wanted to make sure they were blown out before I went in and filled them. I was going to fill them for tonight and then leave them till tomorrow. Well, when I went to blow them out, pushed some air into it, and as I hear it, I'm hearing here just going crackle, 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 crackle as it's going across. Literally come over here and blew this whole section, which has been cut out basically. Blew that whole section up off the wood. And I was like, you know what? Homie, don't play them games. So as I said, I got out my cutoff wheel and I just sliced and diced it. It's all gone. It's all been filled in with 7 layers of chop strand. That's all I got right now. This is thicker than it's actually there. There's some to grind off. Then of course I have to try to make it look like the rest of the box. As I said, it's been one of these things where it just keeps turning into worse and worse and worse. It's almost like the happiest day was the day I pulled it from the mold. But as I said, we're months ahead. Keeping that in mind. We're months ahead, damn it. But it still doesn't account for failures. So As I said, we're just going to leave this guy kick off overnight, and we will come back out here tomorrow and attack it again like we were just first pulling it back out of the mold, and we had to do some repairs. And we'll see you tomorrow. Welcome to another day. Yeah, I know this looks extreme. And what I really didn't articulate last night, because I was a bit frustrated, is what really happened here. Like I said, I found a couple little pits like this one right here and that one right there. So I decided I was just going to blow it out. And as I was blowing this one out, well, actually it was probably up here. As I was blowing one of these guys out, I noticed water come out of this one over here. It's like, what the hell? And so I just gave it some more, and I heard it go like that, right all the way down. And this whole area just lifted. And when I saw that, I was just like, this is impossible. This is just insanely impossible. So I wasn't going to play games with trying to, you know, I mean, if there's one thing, it's one thing. You can drill a couple holes, you can fill it in with some poly and just hope everything works out for the best. And that worked down there. It also worked up here. But the reality is it wasn't going to work for all this. And I just got to the point where I'm like, this is brand new, so to speak. I mean, it is a 50-year-old boat, but this top is brand new. And it's got a defect in it already. And you know what? As I keep saying over and over again, I'm 6 months ahead, and I'm just going to let a defect fly? No. And then it just, you know, everything snowballed from that point on. And I got out my fiberglass, and we just tore it all off, and we fixed it. And now it's all nice and hard as a rock. I'm about ready to hit it with a sledgehammer last night. I thought it was a good time to walk away. So, yes, we have to fix this mess now. Get it back to 100%. And get it ready for paint. Paint. I'm half tempted just to roll on some Rust-Oleum and just call it a day. I'm so sick of this thing. By all the mess that you see all over the place, you can see we're making progress. I don't know if we're actually going in the right direction or not, but we're going forward. Yeah, this is not going to be a one and done kind of over with thing. Looks like I'm going to have to play with it for at least another day or so. I'm just hoping to actually get some primer on it tonight. Don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and continue working. Even though it's getting a lot cooler than it was earlier, and they're saying tomorrow it's not going to be nearly as nice. So that's why I'm trying to get all this drying, quote-unquote, things done. I mean, I can sand in the cold. It doesn't really matter. Even though it looks like Bondo, I'm using a hardener. You know, it's a red hardener instead of the blue. It actually comes with it because I've run out. At the bottom of my gallon here. As I said, I'm on the end of everything. I had enough to do a couple more of these, a couple more of those, you know. I mean, I had enough brushes, I had enough tubs, I had enough everything to do this and do it again and maybe another time. I'm running out of everything at this point. So I've been to the store and I've replaced a few things, but buying another $50 gallon of Rage just to have a spoonful out and have it sit around for who knows how long. I'd rather buy it a lot closer to any project I'm going to be doing with it. I just have to deal, basically, with what's left, and hopefully it's enough. But, it means I have to use a red hardener. Makes it look like Bondo, but it's not. As I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to get anything else I can done. I'm actually using some spot filler around the outside edges, just to make sure none of the pits or pinholes or anything else is around there, just in case. I got most of it up to 120 now. I'm actually still using 80 because I'm fixing some small areas, like that one right there is still just, it didn't look right, so I just kind of ground it out and did it all over again. So, but once I get that done, hopefully I'll be able to get a little primer on this thing. But back to work. Well, the night's coming to a close. We have made some progress, but it's not complete, that's for sure. We got a layer of primer on it. Found a few pin spots, that good stuff. I think I've discovered exactly what's been going on here. And I've never had to deal with this before, so I'm not really sure. But as far as I can tell, the gel coat's a bit porous. And in those pores, it sucked up a lot of water over those few days. And I come out here with my heat gun, believe it or not, and just heat gun this whole area. And I got all these tiny little droplets, I guess, that all came out of here. So I'm pretty confident now I've actually got it dry. Pretty confident. It was the only area that I was having any problems in anyway, or I was suspecting any problems. So, as I said, we're just going to keep it dry. We got a layer of primer on it now. I've also got, you know, as I said, I went ahead with my spot putties. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry up for another 10 or 15 minutes. As I said, it's almost instantaneous anyway. It has so much hardener in it. But I'm going to give it 10 minutes or so, and then I'm just going to go ahead and put another layer of primer right over top of all of it. Just seal it all up. And that way, when I come back tomorrow, I can sand all this off and we'll see where we stand. And the weather's changing, that's for sure. Tomorrow's not going to be nearly as nice as it was today, but we got to do what we got to do. And to finish off our evening, we went ahead and we just primered everything up. I mean, at least with this primered up like it is, those pores are sealed up. I know it sounds odd, but it's just the truth. I mean, when I took this piece up, there was nothing underneath of it. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. As I said, this whole box has been the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So, but we're making progress. We're moving forward. We'll see what it looks like tomorrow. We'll assess and reevaluate our program then. We'll see ya. That doesn't make any sense. Let's let the Speedy Gonzalez go by. Crash into the trees. Good job. Back up. Crash through some more trees. Okay. Man, I haven't even closed out the video yet, and I already closed the door. One more time. This is the way it's going to be. Do, re, mi, fa, la, ti, so. Alright, let's do this all over again. Now we know where we're going. Take two. And I also know that we're months and months ahead, but I just so wanna... Did you see that little rabbit go by? Oh, God, this is a whole total mess. Total mess. La 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 la. Hello, hello, hello. Let's do this part again. It seems pretty traditional. That's 1, 2, 3. Alright, let's do all that again.